After playing with Adobe FireFly beta for a day, I am convinced this is the best product in the text to image space. Hear me out on it, okay? Here are 3 points that I think are the main struggles or pain points of working with text to image. First of all, you don't know where to start. There are so many tools. The second being, you have this image in your head and you don't know how to talk to the model, all puns intended. The third one being, you want some fine control over what the model is giving out. In this video, I'll show you different iterative approaches around different images I want to create, and I'll give you two hidden tricks that haven't been covered anywhere of using Adobe FireFly. I really like this cat image, so let's go from there. And the first thing I'll do is, sorry, I'm not a cat person, so I'll change that to dog. And now my brain is thinking, okay, this image looks cool, but what if I can make a realistic dog? Like, I really want a real dog cooking ramen. Like, how cool would that be, right? So the first thing I'll do is I'll change the aspect ratio to 16:9. That's my subjective opinion. I just like it. I'll change the content type to photo. And let's see if a cute dog cooking a bowl of ramen is realistic. You can see the first interaction with the tool has already started. So I've told it, hey, I want this widescreen aspect ratio. I want a real photo. And you can see the third photo of a Labrador. I really like that one. But I spoke earlier about a way of talking to the model, right? So let's try changing the prompt. What I want is the dog holding the utensil or trying to show that it's cooking something, right? So let's change the prompt a little. You can see it's gone back to cartoonish looking dogs. So let's try to fix this, and I do that by changing from photo to none type. This is a first trick. Many times I found realistic images come from none type. So this makes me happy. I like this image. I'll download this. I'll move on. And when you hit download, you can see Adobe's focus on transparency and commitment to making this good for commercial use. Let's move on now. I want to make an image which is somewhat popular of a double exposure of a character walking along the sea. I want skies visible inside of them. So I'll try that. And I'll iterate a bit. So I start with double exposure of a cute boy walking by the seaside. I put in galaxies. And I prompt a bit, so I ask it to make it of a warm tone. I want warm colors. I want a narrow depth of field and maybe some sun rays. And you can see when I prompt that, these words get auto removed and they are added to the bottom. Why is that happening? Remember, we're interacting with this tool. I spoke about talking to the tool. So inside of the right panel, you can see that there are different settings of color and tones you can change, and it's auto picking from that. So there are two ways of talking to FireFly. You either prompt it or you can use the panel from the right hand side, and you can mix and match both. I really like the interoperability, so I keep going back and forth between them. And you can see if you try to add a word, it auto picks that and adds it to the right panel. So I'll fiddle with settings a little here, and you can see this, I'm getting close to the third stage, which is really having a fine tune over the outputs. And switching to graphic gets me closest to what I really wanted. So this is the image I had in my mind. Let's take a look at another example where we'll also look at some styling options we can change. So this is, now we're in the third step of really having fine control over the model outputs and actually changing them up as you like. So this is a good point. It's not really what I want. And the first thing I'll do is I'll select cyberpunk as a style here. Now this, I really want to highlight, this makes it so easy because you can see a preview of, in this case, the movements or whatever you're trying to achieve, and that makes it really easy because that makes it easier for me to talk to the model. I'm thinking maybe adding a blurry background might make the dog pop from the background. So I go to effects and add that, and there we have it. So now we're at the third stage of talking to the model. Let's take a look at another example of this. I want to generate Big Bang in a colorful style. So I'll put that in as a prompt. And I want it to be a little scary, a little out space vibe with a little touch of color. So I'll change the settings to that. I'll add a wide angle. So I'll make one change of adding a concept art theme, and that gets me where I wanted. So you can see in this dance that we've engaged in with Firefly, at least I, and hopefully you are also observing this, that I'm starting to understand how to talk to the tool better, and we're able to get to our outputs much faster by going to the setting, being able to pick that. Let's test their claim of being trained on completely stock free images. And I did that. I found out if you put in Lambo as a prompt or Audi as a prompt, it doesn't recognize that. So you can see it comes up with cars that absolutely do not resemble an Audi or a Lambo. Now, here's my first trick that I had promised. You can do negative prompts in Firefly, and you do that by putting in square brackets avoid. I'll share my second trick of generating the most realistic looking images. So I'll prompt it with a young boy drinking chai in the Himalayas. I'll change the color to warm tone. I'll go to a blurry background because again I want the boy to be the main character and the background to be blurry. And I'll of course add the bokeh effect here. So you can see in this case the images are quite realistic, but they have the famous issue of a few missing fingers or the eyes looking a little funny. So let's try to negative prompt for that. And this is one of the cases where it's not very apparent, but it still works okay. I get an image that I like, and this is the trick I really like, or these are the settings I really like for generating realistic looking images. Quickly, I will show you some other settings or some other effects you can play around with. So let's say I want to generate a logo or a graphic art of a wolf hiding behind a tree. So for this case, I'll prompt it with that. Change it to origami and change the settings a little bit to vector look and change the content type to graphic art, which gets me to the prompt I wanted. Here's an oil painting of a certain style I like. And we'll end on a cute note, which is a dog as a doodle cartoon driving a car. So you can see after a few iterations, we really get to it. Now this is in beta, but there's another cool thing we can try, which is text effects, where you can generate logos. So let's end by generating Chai Time Data Science's logo. And I want chai to be spilling everywhere. So here's a bonus trick for you all. 3 tricks in one video. We'll put in outline, strength equal to 7. You can have this all the way up to 10. And to stay true to the branding, we'll set the background to orange, have a white color for the text, outline. There we have it. Chai spilling in all directions. Absolutely love it. Let's change the font, and I really like this one. Just for fun, let's change this to melting ice cream. So this was an overview of Adobe Firefly. Let me know if you like these shorter videos that I'm sort of experimenting with. I'd love your feedback. Get subscribed for more of these if you're interested. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.